Good afternoon, this is Joe Krutzinger with our weekly roundup. Today we're going to talk about my 4 strategies applied to the new Chicago Mercantile Russell 2000. Now, the contract has the same specs as the Russell 2000 in New York, with a couple exceptions. First of all, the margin is a little bit less, but the amount of money you need for the data is 0 because it's included in with the Chicago Mercantile Group. Before, the Russell real-time data was $110 a month, so this makes it a whole new area for you to take a look at. Also, because it's in Chicago, it starts at 8:30 instead of at 9:30, so you can't just adjust the times like you'd think you would. Also, the continuous data, what they've done is they've taken all the data before July 10th is coming from that New York contract. And so I don't think you should really use that for doing your optimizations. So these optimizations are short. They're only over the real Russell CME data, which started on July the 10th. But let's go ahead and get started. This is the disclaimer, and of course you can get the PDF from just shooting me an email. You can also get the 4 TSWs if you want to by shooting me an email. I'm not posting them anymore, but I'll be glad to provide them to you already and to go. The 3 terms I like to define in all my presentations: first of all, hypothetical, simulated, means the same. These are trades that have not been executed. They're generated by a strategy with the benefit of hindsight. Now that's what we're seeing today, because I just ran these optimizations and they're available for you over this 6-7 week period. Of course, a blind walk forward is when you just shut the workspace down and see how it look over a week or 2 or a month or 3 years we've looked at them. And of course, the best results are always real results. Actual trades have been filled in an exchange. When we get to the end, I'll talk about my account on Razor and what it's doing. Just a quick review for some of you who may not know who I am. I'm a full-time trading system developer. I started in futures in 1976. That's over 41 years ago. I had block number 1 of TradeStation. I was the first one outside of the company to use that software. I've written 4 books on system trading, consulted with world-class traders, and I've worked for major trading institutions as well as individuals. My agenda for the last several years has been to level the field of automation for the little guy, the guy who wants to play golf or have a job or do something besides stare at the screen like I did for 41 years. My 4 key strategies are thus. First of all, bar none, it looks at 4 patterns with a day of week bias. It then confirms entry, with volatility breakout biased on a 5th pattern. This system has never been reverse engineered to my knowledge. Shapes can be used as both an overnight swing strategy and as a day trading strategy. Shapes is counter trend. It works with gaps and subsequent breakouts contrary to those gaps. Razor is a time-based strategy with breakouts from quiet markets, stops and trails, and a time-based exit. And Ribbons adds a filter to Razor, so it has less trades, but the trades are usually bigger. The filter tries to confirm the trade and is in harmony with a band of 8 moving averages. First off is the Russell. This is from July 10th, the first day of trading, through today. It shows making $2,623 on 21 trades. 57% were correct. The RENA index is 627. The drawdown is only 316. The stop loss is a pretty small 135. And so that gives you a good idea of what we've got there. Now here's the Russell. This is the equity chart on the left, and over to the right is the weekly. Every week's return, there's 1 trade to 3 trades a week, and then the bottom one is the cumulative. If you would have started on July 16th, you'd be up 2660. If you started on July 30th, you'd be up 1730, like that. It's a rolling upward type number. The next optimization is bar none. I'll change that date because it's not correct. It's the same as the other July the 10th, and you can see on the slide, if you look at the time it's taken right there, it says July the 10th. It makes $2,578. There's 31 trades. The RENA is a very healthy 1,002. Percent of time in the market is 3.55. Drawdown's only 391. Average trade size is $83. 51% is correct. Here's the bar none with the equity curve and with the weekly performance, and it's usually about 4 trades a week there. And if you would have started at July the 16th, Basically you would have been up about 23.91. If you would have started on August the 20th just recently, you'd be down 359. And you can see it had a sharp run up, and in the last couple of weeks it's been basically flat to losing just a little bit. Now here's Ribbons. As I said before, Ribbons is looking for bigger trades. So you can see it's 100% right over this test, but there's only 7 trades. $117 the average trade size. Drawdown is next to nothing. It's 232 from peak to valley. And the stop loss used is $190. When you have this short piece of data, it's easy to cherry pick, and with only 7 trades I'd be a little nervous with Ribbons. It only made 821 over the period because it really is cherry picking, but it's something to watch because there's virtually no drawdown over this test. Our last recalibration is shapes, and it is the best to last. Remember, when we did the Russell at the New York exchange, the Russell and shapes were the best system and the best market. And you can see shapes is still holding its head up pretty darn high here, showing making $5,820 on 39 trades. So there's plenty of trades. 76% right, drawdown 725. The arena's smaller at 267, but the and that's because the stop is big. The stop is 385. The others were less than 200. So if you aren't scared of a little bit bigger stop, you might want to take a look at the shapes. And you can see that equity curve when you have a little bigger stop, looks a little more like a 60-degree line. You look at the weekly returns, there's 2 losing weeks, a $75 week and a $190 losing week. The rest of the weeks have been winners. So it's something to really watch. I think the shapes on the Russell at the CME is going to be pretty good if you can stand that big stop. If not, I'll show you what we can do a little bit later here. Now we're going to jump to the real time. This is the real time of my IRA account. This was started on April 1st through today, August 31st, and we'll take a look at its performance, and I'll show you what's good and what's bad about the Razor, at least in my opinion. Now here, this is a column view report, so you can see a few of the more statistics. First of all, the annual rate of return, it's 5 months, is 90%. In real time with slip and commission, I got nothing to say apologetic about that. That's just fine as far as I'm concerned. You also notice we made $2,250 net, but on the long trades made $32.39, and the short trades we lost $9.88. Kind of makes sense because the trend has been up, and fighting the trend usually does cost you money. 49% of the trades have been winners. The average trade is a little small at $28.49, but that is after the slip and real-time commission. The stop is small too. It's at $140, and so that's something to consider. If you want to have a smallish stop, this to me is a pretty darn good system to be using. Now this is what real-time trading looks like. If you see trade 30 was the high equity, and we're in about trade 80. So we've had 50 trades since high equity not making any money. It's just gone sideways. That's the way the real life is. When you've got a system that catches a big trend and it catches it and banks it, and then it kind of eats away and goes to the sideways, and then it either makes money or loses money. I would rather have a system that makes some money and goes sideways than makes it, loses it in an oscilloscope. And you can look at the monthly breakdowns. You can see July was the only losing month, lost $14.55. The other months have been good. August we were up a lot more than this. We're only up $11.81 now, but we're up quite a bit more than that. But the cumulative is still $22.50, and the return on account is still over 90% in real time. And again, I like it. I think it's a good one to trade, and you can watch the switcher on any of this stuff, and if it turns red, pull away from it, wait for it to turn green, and go again. If you need some help with that, just give me a call and I'll be glad to go over the switcher with you. My main products are ideas, service, and support when you need it. All you need to do is go to etrackrecords.com, go to the support tab, pull it down, follow the instructions, send me those 2 numbers that come up from TeamViewer, and I'll get on your machine and install any of this. I'll put these 4 new TSWs on. I'll do anything you need if you've broken a system. There's never a charge for a client. That's what I'm here to do. The best time to call me is the old-time banker hours between 9 and 3 Chicago time. Otherwise, 24/7, 365 is email. That's the way I handle the business. Well, here's a summary, and what I've done is in each of these categories I've put a yellow one on what I consider to be the best one in that category. And if you equally weigh them, you could see that Shapes has 3 boxes that are yellowed, Bar None has 2, Razor has 2, and Ribbons only has 1. So makes the decision a little bit easier. If you like Shapes and you have the wherewithal to take that larger stop loss, then Shapes is your one. Otherwise, basically it's Razor or Bar None. They're pretty well toss up. They made about the same amount of money. They had about the same as far as the stop loss, 110, 135. So it's up to you what you like. In that case, I'd probably pick Razor because we have a real-time record of it back to April, and we don't have that in Bar None. But that's the decision process, and that's the way I think you should take a look at it and see which one's best for you. You can call me directly at my office at 913-334-2202. Send the TeamViewer 9 codes. I'll install a 14-day trial of any or all of my strategies, and you can always email me at joecrutt@gmail.com. Our website, of course, is etrackrecords.com. I wish you good luck and great trading. Remember that Monday we're closed, so it's a good time on this weekend to shut your box down. And if you want to shoot me a TeamViewer, I'll give you these 4 Russells and we'll put them on there. You'll be ready to go on Tuesday. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.